of Bachelor. He worked from Independence Stadium to my office at Caraba Avenue to pledge his support and loyalty to the United Democratic Party. So did we have Dr. Lamin Toure. So did we have Mr. Mane. And of course, yesterday, we have our own brother, our friend in the struggle, MB Krubali. Everyone in the diaspora, MB was in the fight against the dictatorship in the Gambia. He has one vision, he has one objective, one aim, to see a Gambia that is free, not only free politically, but free from poverty. He wants to see a Gambian where the hospitals are well stocked with medications. He doesn't want to see a Gambia where the political leadership lives extravagant lifestyle when the masses of the Gambian people are dying of hunger, when the average Gambian family cannot afford 3 meals a day, when payment of tuition fees are difficult for families. He wants to see a Gambia where all these negative things really disappear. He has joined the United Democratic Party, a great foot soldier, a determined warrior. And I say, well, MB, welcome to the United Democratic Party. And I know your joining the United Democratic Party will add value to our efforts. It's in fact a signal, an attestation to the whole world that the United Democratic Party is indeed the party that has the answers to the problems of this country. I'm sure with your contributions in every aspect, we will achieve for the Gambia what you have been dreaming for us. And I want to ask others who are really thinking about whether you should join the United Democratic Party or not. I want to say, please, make your choice. And your choice is the United Democratic Party, or should be the United Democratic Party. Lest, I don't want to sound in any way demeaning, but I believe that other parties will also claim that they can provide the answers to the problems of the country. But the single party that has really stood out at all given time since 1996 is the United Democratic Party. And I believe that every sensible person will certainly accept this fact. And I hope that those of us who have not yet decided to join our party should do so. The door is open. MB, come in with the rest of the guys that you hang out with. I am sure your joining the United Democratic Party will reverberate in URR, particularly in Basse. Thank you for joining us. And I'm sure together we will create a Gambia that we all want. A Gambia that will really be the pride of your children and your grandchildren. Of course, the past days, we've seen a lot of things happen in this country. On Sunday, 26th January, I listened to a program on West Coast Radio with the host, Peter Gomez, Coffee Time host. Although I don't think that particular program was actually coffee time, because since it was in the afternoon, so probably that would probably have been a lunch time, not coffee time. But yes, the important thing about it is I heard the Minister of Information and the spokesperson deal, amongst other things, with the banning of the 3 years Jatna movement. Of course, as a lawyer, what came to my mind is the legality of the banning order. Particularly, this happening on a Sunday. What authority banned the movement, and on what basis was this done? I decided not to make this a political issue. I decided to approach it in a professional way, that I should be in touch with my colleague, the Honorable Attorney General, a very sensible young man, a lawyer dedicated to the rule of law, a lawyer that does not twist legal principles to just in order to satisfy his employers. I decided to write to him in a very polite way that it does appear to me, and I have absolutely no doubt, that my position is cast in stone. That what was done by the government was really not in keeping with the law. And as a lawyer, even though we could go to court to challenge the matter, we thought that a proper thing to do was to address a letter to Attorney General to really diffuse the situation in this country, that the rules and regulations would be strictly observed and will be strictly followed. I do not expect any reply from the Honorable Attorney General. What I certainly expect is the initiation of the remedial steps. And indeed, it may be difficult to come out openly for the government to admit that we have done something wrong. But it certainly would not be out of place for the government to ignore the so-called banning order and not really go after anybody who puts on the T-shirt of 3 years Jotna. I think that would probably be a way of dealing with it. The government would not lose face. And of course, the 3 years Jotna people, or whoever wishes to put on any paraphernalia of the 3 years Jotna will not do so. Will not do so and then be apprehended by the authorities. I think the Honorable Attorney General will now insist that matters that have any legal ramifications will not be addressed by the government, or decisions that will have legal ramifications will not be taken by the government without reference to the Attorney General. I think if you do so, we certainly will be doing a lot of good service to the image of our country. It will not be remembered or will not be reminded about the non-observance of the laws that used to prevail in this country under Jammeh. I don't think we should be treated in a way that will be constantly remembering that these are the sort of things that happened in the Jammeh era. And my whole issue of writing that letter is really to deal with my colleague in a professional way. I didn't want to make it a political issue, nor did I want to embarrass the government, because if I wanted to embarrass the government, what I would do was to file a suit in the courts and then will let the court come and defend their actions. We hope that such things will not happen in the future. We hope that the Jamia style of doing things will not be buried and be buried forever. Around the same time, 2 days after the banning, the purported banning of the 3 years judgment, the Supreme Court gave landmark decisions in the case of Yakumba Jaite versus the Attorney General. I must say that I'm happy about the outcome of that case. The judgment of the Supreme Court vindicates my position. In fact, my last one-to-one conversation or discussion with the president was on the revocation of the Yakumba Jaite nomination in National Assembly. I made it quite clear to the president that he had no such constitutional authority, but he insisted that he had. Gave this argument, mundane, very mundane argument that, but if I have the authority to appoint, I have also the authority to remove the person from office. But then, those are very mundane, logical way of approaching things, which is different from really interpreting the Constitution. I'm happy that I have been vindicated, that what I told the president, if he had gone by that, the embarrassment which now faces would not have happened. I told my daughter that really, if this case had gone against Yakumba, I would go back to university to read law, because I would have known that my instructions in constitutional law was very deficient. But at least I know that I had very good professors of constitutional law, and I have personally developed interest in constitutional law. I've carried a lot of research in constitutional cases and constitutions of other countries. So I knew I was in Fama Terra. I'm happy that I am vindicated. On the same day, of course, there was judgment by the Supreme Court in what people are now saying tax evasion case. I want to make one thing abundantly clear, that the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Commission of Inquiry have never found me to have committed any tax evasion. If I had, if that was any finding, I would have served my prison term for that, because tax evasion is a crime. And in Jammeh's era, the Commission of Inquiry could not have found me to have committed an offense, and I get immune from prosecution. The simple judgment of the Court of Appeal is that I owe tax liabilities. It is quite clear, but of course my political detractors, my opponents, are spinning it to say it was tax evasion. And I want to make it abundantly clear that I have not evaded tax. I owe tax. I had contested that I owed the amount. And the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court said that my contest cannot be upheld. It's as simple as that. Just as Mr. A owes tax, it is in the same vein that I also owe tax. I contested the validity of the reassessment, and as a litigant, I will not sit here to critique that judgment. As a litigant, I just have to accept that this is the verdict of the courts, and I would abide by the verdict of the court and clear my tax liabilities. Let me also say that recently we've seen the inauguration or the opening of the International Conference Center. Personally, I could not attend, or I did not attend. And it's a matter of regret that I did not attend the opening of a conference center, and to which I have been closely to which I was closely connected. As foreign minister, I signed that agreement with the government of People's Republic of China. And there couldn't have been any happier moment for me than me witnessing the inauguration of that magnificent edifice. Of course, we'll all recall that when the foundation stone was being laid, I was one of the people who made a statement at that occasion. So I was closely connected with it. My absence was due to the fact that on Friday, I believe the 10th, anyway, the day before the inauguration, about 4 o'clock in the evening,